Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. We're moving into the realm of 3D printing, and like I spoke before on the previous um, video, is that uh, I'm making this project for a friend of sites that he visited and items that are common, some are not, right? Let's just say some items here that I 3D printed are not so common. But it's interesting because all these models came from different sites, primarily from Thingiverse, which is a great archive of 3D models, and you can find just about everything on there. A lot of accessories for everyday stuff at home, and also uh, bikes and projects and a whole bunch of stuff. So it's a great website. That website again is thingiverse.com. Not sponsored or anything by them, but this is where usually I get all um, my models from, mostly. So credit to the actual people that actually designed these models. These are pretty good models. So they came in different sizes, and what I did was I picked a standard size object. So, for example, I had printed the Eiffel Tower. This is the Eiffel Tower, and it was one print, no supports, and it did pretty good. I got to clean it up a little bit. Obviously, you can see that there's some hue of green because the original PLA that I use, and PLA, by the way, is the material, sort of like the ink of the printer that is used to actually um, melt, actually goes into the printer, melts, and like a hot glue gun, just melts plastic into the individual places, and it just this comes out of it, which is great. Um, so I went off of this first, and I said to myself, let me look at what the height was. And if you go online on Google Image, you will find an assortment of comparison for buildings and heights and tallest building in the world. So you'll have a list of buildings, and you can see the height and the height measurement. So what I did was I based it off the Eiffel Tower because, by the way, my friend in his office has a picture of his wife and himself in front of the Eiffel Tower. So I started with the Eiffel Tower, and from there I went on to the Statue of Liberty because I'm in New York, he's in New York, he's been to the Statue of Liberty, so and it was um, France's gift to the U.S. Um, and that would be my next stop. So I took a size comparison and I pretty much guessed almost down to where the picture was. I highlighted and got to see where just about I needed to shrink this model. This model was originally 3 times the size of this model. I shrunk it down using a program called Cura from Ultimaker. That's a slicer program that slices the file and gives the instruction to the printer on how to print this sculpture, right? Or this file. And that's how I got my scale. And as you can see, a lot of things surprises me because I always thought the Statue of Liberty is pretty big. I've been around it. I've been on Liberty Island, where the statue is actually out in New York Harbor, where it's actually installed, and you can see there's a humongous difference in size. I didn't think this was it. I thought maybe it was half the size or even the same size, but no, it's like this. So there's a lot of references you could use on Google as far as height or comparison, and you then start guesstimating. Once you start printing enough items, you could almost just look at it and pretty much get it down to the money, close to it. Now, this is not an exact replica in height. So I don't pretend to give this project and finish this project. And my friend knows that this is not the exact height, but it's a very close definition. So again, Eiffel Tower. This is also the Washington Monument out in Washington D.C. So those are the things that I look for in scaling, and I'm gonna show you a couple of these models so you can see uh, how crazy. So he's never been on a cruise, but I've been on a cruise, and I thought it was fun because it was a humongous ship from front to back. It was amazing, mind blowing. The corridor on the floor that I was on, my room was on. I got to go with my daughters, and they just kept complaining about how far the room was from all the recreational area. We were back here, and there was recreational stuff here, but they liked being in the front. And the corridor was long. I mean, long some corridors went from the front of the ship all the way to the back, uninterrupted view. So to put that into perspective, the ship is pretty big. It's not that tall in height, and it's pretty narrow, but it's pretty long. And if you took a modern day cruise liner, this was I went on. We went on Carnival Magic. They love the ship. They want to go back. Let's see if that happens next year again. And I said, let me print a building, a modern skyscraper here in New York City. Is called the Chrysler Building, after a Chrysler company. I don't think they own the building anymore. And you stand a cruise liner next to this building, and yes, a cruise liner is pretty big. Uh, Also, just to show size comparison, and it is to scale. It is scale to scale, 1 to 1, as far as the Chrysler to the cruise liner. This is a Nimitz class carrier, and this is much bigger, where you can actually literally sit the entire uh, Carnival Cruise Line ship on the deck of the carrier. So to show you just a little bit more, some of the stuff, uh, rocketry, which is immensely powerful, could send tons of supplies up to low Earth orbit, and in some cases to the moon. Um, they're actually, I would have thought they were a lot bigger. I've seen some of these up close, and they're huge. And again, all these sites and all these structures are actually way bigger, but they get so cluttered among other things that they don't look so big. So my surprise was how big this is. And I never been to Paris, so I never been to the Eiffel Tower. So I've been next to one of these, and they're huge. And again, the Eiffel Tower really trumps over it. So it's crazy. Um, and again, there was a couple of things, like I said in the previous video, like the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building actively in the world. And to show the comparison, these were the twin towers at downtown Manhattan, and then the Burj Khalifa just looks so humongous on the pictures or the videos, and it is, but not quite so impressed. I don't know if I could get the whole thing. There you go. I'm not so impressed by the Burj Khalifa anymore. I don't know why. I thought it was gonna be like this big. So, in the world of scaling, I think there's websites that I'm gonna link down below that could help you with scaling something, um, and getting things close to, if you want to do like a diorama, a train diorama, and you found a good file for a building or a structure, and you want to scale it down. The train people have O scale, N scale, H scale. They have many scales, but those are stuff that are prefabricated. But if you find something on a site like Thingiverse, and you want to shrink it down or even blow it up to make your diorama, this is where learning a skill like this, and sometimes guesstimating, is pretty cool. Pretty cool. So you can make a lot of use of something that you might find, and you can make it fit your needs very easy by just doing a couple of guesstimates. Sometimes, yes, you have to take out a ruler just to get everything pretty squared out, but you will learn with practice. Again, many things like this just boggle my mind on how small they are versus how big they really are. And yeah, that's my video for today. If you like the content, you want to see something more, or any suggestions, just post it down on the comments down there. Hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.